What is the mindset of a protector? One thing alone can make the difference between failure and success: your mindset. This podcast was created for protectors in the fields of law enforcement, security, and executive protection. Tune in every week where we look in the mirror to make real changes and learn how to achieve greatness by tapping into the Sentinel mindset. This episode is brought to you by The Arena. The Arena focuses on helping law enforcement and security professionals achieve their ultimate work experience, curriculum, and fitness goals. Visit thearenatoronto.com.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic day. On behalf of International Women's Day, we are here today at York Regional Police, where we're going to highlight the journey of two incredible women. You do not want to miss this episode. For all the women listening who have the desire to be a protector, the desire to serve and protect, this is an episode you don't want to miss. Next on the Sentinel Mindset.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
Amazing, amazing. Pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Good. Well, I'm excited today. And the reason why I'm excited today is because we have Staff Sergeant Debbie Gladding here with York Regional Police. And she's been with the service since 1995.
1995.
I have to say, you look amazing to be, to have that longevity. Olive late twice a day, every day, man. Amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. We're going to jump in right now, do a little bit of driving, find a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
And we're doing this all for International Women's Day. So I'm really wanting to put a lot of focus on that today.
Perfect.
Ready to go?
All right to go.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, guys, join us.
Okay, so do you have any idea where you want to go today?
I'm thinking, how about we go up into the 14th sector, Mount Albert.
Let's do it.
Drive up there, go up Woodbine. Okay. Do a little drive around there.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Amazing. Okay, so first of all, I'm very excited that we're doing this today. I had a chance to do a little bit of reading into your bio. So obviously 1995, this is the day that you started.
June the 5th, 1995.
June 5th. And now, wow, it's like such an important staple.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. So was this your first service that you applied to?
No. I applied to, as soon as I graduated high school, I applied to Toronto Police.
Okay.
Back then, and I went through their process. Wasn't successful in the end.
Okay.
And then thought, okay, need some more life experience. So I worked in the private sector for quite some time. I worked in public relations, worked in a law firm. So I gained, the private sector experience for quite a bit of time.
Okay.
And then after a while, looked back, wanted to get into policing. I come from a family of police officers.
Yes.
So it was a matter of, trying again. And
Okay, and I think it's important because I love when I saw this. Your dad is one of the first Black police officers for York Regional Police.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so amazing. By the way, just a little something. Your background, Trinidad and Tobago?
Correct.
Okay. I actually had an opportunity to interview Inspector Colin Alexander, who is also from we're talking about routine. Amazing. So you also, reading in your bio, you come from a family of police.
Family police officers.
Okay.
So my brother was a sergeant, just recently retired from Peel.
Okay.
And my grandfather was a police officer in Trinidad.
Wow.
So and then my dad, of course.
Yeah, so it runs in the blood.
It runs in the blood.
So for yourself, growing up and seeing this, did you look at that and saying, I want to do this? Was that something from a young age?
It was all I knew. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as policing, just seeing exactly what my dad did, just serving the community, doing law enforcement was the thing. It was the thing. Yeah.
Amazing. And for yourself, when you look at this career now since 1995, do you look at it and be like, where did time fly? Or do you look at it, or are you looking at it like, it's been a journey and it feels like a journey? It's
been a journey.
Yeah.
A little bit of both, but it really has been a journey. I mean, when I've seen from when I first started, being brand new, not knowing what to expect, and just seeing the transition from different leadership styles, different challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Just seeing how that has really changed has been quite the journey, and how I've been able to, grow and develop and mature throughout all those changes is really kind of,
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. So how's, in your opinion, how's policing changed since 1995 to now?
Well, I mean, for so many different ways to answer that one.
Yeah.
So for me, when you're, even though I was, coming from a family of police officers, I mean, it's like I never really had to actually myself engage in that sort of, dealing with societal, problems and issues and challenges. So when I was actually in it, it's like, oh wow, this is real now.
Right.
Like, when I was going to a call, a domestic call, or, any sort of, violent situation, it actually became real. And it was like, this is not like TV.
Yes.
This is, this is exactly kind of what my dad was talking about when you have to deal with people during various times, good and bad, positive and negative in their lives. This actually happens.
Wow.
So it was a real eye-opener.
Is he with York still, by the way, your dad?
No, my father, he retired back in 82.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, and he's since passed away, but it's just kind of one of those that, what my dad was going through and experienced, really, I saw it at that grassroots level, at that baseline level. And then as things, as I developed in my career, became a little more sophisticated, because society became a little more sophisticated, right? So it was just a matter of, moving with the times.
Yes.
Really kind of, changing the way you approach things, changing the way you communicate, showing a little more empathy and being a little more sophisticated. Because
a lot of the tactics and strategies have changed.
Yes, that's how, because you really have to roll with it. Otherwise, the old school mentality and the old school policing that really I kind of grew up in is no longer acceptable.
Back then it was a force, right?
Absolutely. It's now a service.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
How have you found, do you find things that over the years have maintained a level, like the danger level or the crime levels? Do you find that it's increasing? Do you think it's it's more dangerous now to be a police officer than it was back then?
Well, you know what? I think it's anything can be dangerous.
Yes.
Any career can be dangerous. There's always going to be some level of danger in any sort of career. Just getting to work can be somewhat dangerous.
Right.
But especially in policing, because our region especially is growing, and there's more, there's an influx of, the population have been coming into and moving into York region, plus the way geographically we border.
Yes.
There's always going to be a level of danger. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of our business. And we deal with people in crisis. We deal with people in various stages of, during their lives and in their situations. So that's kind of to be expected. But I think how we approach it has become more and more important. Like, again, transition from force to service. And really, if you take, for me, a common sense approach and make sure safety is a priority, you kind of manage it.
Okay.
There's risk, but you manage it.
Was your dad, when you found out that you became a police officer, you wanted to get a police officer, was he almost nervous for you, or was he?
No, he was so proud.
So he was like,
he was so proud. He was so proud. I remember, when I got my first promotion too, there was a smile on his face.
Right.
And it was just one of those things that you could just see he was happy for me. My brother as well, they were both so proud that I joined that rank.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I love about our focus for these interviews, especially for the month of March with International Women's Days, women that are looking at getting into the service, right? Mm-hmm. So the first thing I want to kind of focus on is for the women that look at the job as an obstacle, meaning as I want to, but can I do that? Right. And I know that the prep test and the physical is a big part of it, and they look at that. Tell me what advice you would give to those women that are listening right now that, they can identify as protectors, they want to help others, but they feel the process is too big for them.
Right. Yeah. Well, look, let me tell you, first and foremost, I was not a runner. I was a sprinter. Anything over 200 meters was long for me.
Okay.
So building that endurance was something that I know I needed to work on. It's a matter of commitment, and it's a matter of dedication and process. And yeah, you're not always going to have a good day. You're not always going to have a good fitness day. But you know what? It's not just a matter of fitness. It's diet. It's all of those things. And it's the mindset that you really have to go get, drilled into and make sure that your mind is right in order to do it, because sometimes it's just not going to happen on that day that you want it to happen.
Right.
But you just have to stick with it. It's not easy, and I get it, but it's just a matter of preparing and knowing that this is what I want. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to work as hard as I have to, give 110, sometimes 120,
yes,
in order to get that goal. Yeah.
There's a very common theme for many people that I've spoken to, that it's almost like a rarity to find someone that says, I got on my first attempt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think by design, it's almost like you need to get that failure piece into the mix, because it's going to make you come to the drawing board. What I need to work on, right? What I need to build onto. And it's for a reason too.
Yes.
If you don't have any life experience whatsoever, and just jumping. Look, there are some people that can jump directly out of college and get in. Okay?
Right.
But they are the rarity.
They're rare.
Yeah, there has to be something very, very deep. So I think it's important that you do go through these struggles. For yourself, again, you mentioned that you failed the first time getting through. If you can recall, what would be some things that you did for your mindset to push past it? Because look, human nature is to I failed. Okay, that means I'm done. It's common just to rule yourself out.
Right. Yeah.
What would you say?
No. So I would say to that is that, you know what, this job is going to test you. It's going to test every aspect of, your resiliency, your dedication, your commitment, all of those sort of things. And that you have to have that before you even get into it.
Right.
So when it comes to, the no or the unsuccessful, because I don't like to use the word failure, I like you were unsuccessful.
Yes.
And I think it's a matter of, okay, what do I have to do for the next time? Do I have to, start running a bit more? Do I have to run in a different manner as opposed to just the usual, just get out there and run? It's really all about the commitment. How much effort are you going to put into it? Because you're going to need it.
Right.
You're going to need it moving forward.
Yeah, that's good.
So there's your foundation. As long as you have that foundation, it's going to push you to that next level.
Can you remember something on the job, a call that you attended, something that really stands out, that, put you to the test and how you overcame it?
I had when I went on my first domestic call, and it was, husband and wife arguing, it got physical, but it wasn't back then. It wasn't it wasn't extreme,
right.
But it was a domestic,
right.
And I had never, just sitting there and listening to the woman talk about what she was going through in her marriage. After the call was over and done, I actually had to go aside, and I cried. I cried because it was like, this is real now. This was like somebody's life has now been impacted, and just being that upset, and just being a woman too, I kind of empathized with her and thought, oh my goodness, this is what I'm going to be doing and hearing on a day-to-day basis. So that really kind of stuck out with me, and it was my first domestic call.
Right.
After my training on my own.
Right.
And it was just kind of, wow, this got real.
Do you find that the word desensitized, do you find that you have to get into a position of with your emotions, because you're dealing with so much? You could be dealing with a situation where you gotta maybe break some really devastating news, or and essentially, I can say that I'm an emotional guy. So for me, I can say I would be that guy crying with the women. I'm so sorry to tell you this.
Yeah.
But I also know, because I used to work in like homeless shelters, that I saw a lot of death, and I eventually started to get desensitized to death.
Yeah.
And it was my way of kind of coping with the whole process. Do you find that that you go through that process as well?
Yeah, you have. I think you have to. You have to be able to manage that, but not to the point where you become so cold
like a robot.
And
so
robotic.
Empathy.
Because you know what, the public really kind of sense that. They know when you're really not engaging with them. They know when you're really just kind of going through the motion. And I think that
was my doctor's visit yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I felt like that. Like I was talking to a robot.
Just kind of and then so where's that connection? And I think that's the big thing. You still have to build that connection, but at the same time, you have to maintain that sort of, okay, I understand this is happening. Make sure that you're there to do the job.
Yes.
But also you can't take that human element out of it.
Okay.
You just can't.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then it just changes the whole flavor and dynamic of your investigation. And really, that's what you're trying to do your best for the people that are involved.
Yes.
And that you need that connection.
For sure.
You need that connection.
No, that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to many women in policing.
Yeah.
And one of the things
We're great, aren't we?
100%.
We are. We're rocking it.
I love the confidence. It's amazing.
Yes.
So one of the things that I wanted to touch upon is that, look, I can tell you in our security agency, speaking to many of our women, that they'll say, like, a lot of times they were able to diffuse the situation because they bring a very different approach to the situations. Can you speak a little bit about that on the job?
Yeah.
Because there is a very different dynamic that, I feel you have almost an edge.
Yeah. I think there's a sensitivity. There's something that we project.
Yes.
Right off the hop, just even as an entry, that when you enter into a situation, that kind of brings the level down to a more manageable level. You're able to sort of, I think whether it's the softness of our voice, whether it's just, just us physically being there. There's something about when when we're entering a scene, having to do an investigation, that we were able to make that connection.
That's true.
And I've been able to get somebody who is way up here, get them down to a level that, you know what, we can have a conversation, we can speak about what's going on.
Right.
They can actually talk to me, still raising with the voice, but at the same time, know that, you know what, I'm here to help, but I'm also not here. You're not going to be pushing. I'm not a pushover.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm here to help you.
Yes. No, that's great. And I think, like, the part of the, I guess, as men, sometimes I think ego gets in the way quite a bit as well. And that is something that is hard to check in. I think what we said earlier about the leading with empathy piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are fantastic at doing that, and I think it really resonates. Like, if the outcome that you want is to be in your favor, so if that's the case, what's your approach?
Yeah, we all want the same outcome. Even the person involved wants at least their outcome. To me, their outcome is I want somebody to hear my side of things.
Right.
Whether or not, we're not here to judge, but listen to what they have to say. Sometimes that's all that is needed, is just to hear them out. When I'm in the office and taking calls from people, and I have to, manage, some complaints or concerns or anything like that, it's just a matter of, I'll sit and talk to somebody and hear them out for at least 35 minutes.
Right.
And just let them tell me what the problem is, what their issue has been, what their concern has been. And it brings them down, even on the phone, from up here to down here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you find the position that you have, meaning as a public servant, where you're here for the people, do you find that you look at that as a privilege, where you can use it to make something amazing? Like I have the ability to truly make some difference in someone's world. Like, do you have that look at it?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the nature of why I got into this career.
Right.
It's not a job, it's a career for me. This has been a lifelong career aspiration. I've worked in several different units, and in each and every one of them, it's always been, how can I make a difference? How can I impact somebody's life? You know, whether it's been somebody who's been arrested and you know what, they're trying to turn their life around. There are avenues that I've helped out in, you know, to try and get them on the right path. Somebody that's looking to become a police officer, work with them to get them on the right path, put them in connection with the right people so that they can succeed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: for almost 30 years in the job, when you're not working,
oh, please don't say, am I almost 30? Oh, wow, we're really going there. We're really going right at the 30. I'm not there yet.
Listen, like I told you earlier today, even when I read your bio and stuff, I'm like, oh my goodness, like this to me is like so impressive because of the career that you've had.
Yeah.
When you're with your friends, when you're with your family, do you always have the protector room inside on? Like, are you always looking at everything? Like, you know?
Am I always? Yeah.
Are you always?
Am I always watching?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. You can't. You don't get away from that.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. You can't. That's just the nature of the beast. And I mean, my son tells me all the time, "Oh, Mom, can you just dial it down a little bit?" You know, take it down a notch.
Yeah.
Sometimes but you just can't. That's just
inside.
You're so aware,
right,
that you have to, and it's just because, you know, that's just part of the job.
That's right.
So
that's right.
It's hard to turn that off.
Yeah.
Hard to turn it off.
You've had a lot of exposure when I was reading your bio, a lot of things that you did in your journey to get to staff sergeant. How long have you been a staff sergeant for right now?
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying this level of leadership?
Initially, it was I was like a deer in the headlights, because it was so next level.
Yes.
You know, you're responsible to provide leadership and guidance and mentoring to a larger number of people.
Okay.
And, you know, in various stages of their career too. So you have, you know, the new junior officer who's just fresh off of training.
Right.
And they have different needs. And then you have more seasoned officers, senior officers that have been, you know, anywhere from 7 to 10 to 12 plus years on the job. And they need something different. They need some, you know, less mentoring, but more, you know, networking and more, you know, development to get them to the next level, more responsibility. So it's a challenge. It's a balance, and it's I love it because you're doing different. Yeah.
And it seems to me like you seem to me like to be the type of person that likes to pour into people, like to develop, build them up, like.
Absolutely.
And you brought something up. You talked about mentorship. Mm-hmm. So it's so important in any profession, in any industry, that you want to almost like be in a position to create like successors or people that are going to be kind of in your footsteps.
Yes.
Like how challenging? Well, like before I say challenging. How important is it to have like a servant leadership style mentality to kind of bring someone up to a place where they can really truly inspire, motivate, and uplift individuals?
It's a win-win all around. It's a win for them because they see that somebody is investing their time, their knowledge, their experiences into me, and therefore, you know, it's almost as though you're committed to my development. You're committed to my growth. Thank you for that, because they see something. I see something in that individual that says, I'm going to pass that torch on to you. And it's a win for the organization because there's succession planning.
That's right.
I mean, we have a reputation to uphold. We have a service commitment to uphold. And our leadership now is all about supporting.
Could you recall mentorship that was provided to you that really helped you and kind of gave you that, man, I'm just looking at it this way now, and it's kind of elevated you?
I've had a few mentors in my career that have, you know, really kind of set, you know, instead of giving me the answer, they help you get there. Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Those words are so powerful. What do you think? And you may be completely on the wrong path, but talk to me about what you're thinking. We'll hear it out, flesh it out, and then let's look at it from this perspective as well. So you kind of get that experience, but they're still taking into account
right
what you have to say, and that's huge as far as, my thought process.
I love that stuff because
Yeah.
very easily the answer can be given to you.
Easy.
Why don't you go through this experience?
Here, just
first?
do this.
Yeah,
Here, just
exactly.
do this. Well, why? And that's what I'm finding now. It's like, it's no longer acceptable to just say, even for my guys, it's no longer acceptable to just say, because I said so. It just doesn't work anymore, because there's always got to be the why. You have to explain the why.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The authoritarian style doesn't really exist.
There are times where that's needed,
Right.
but at the same time, just to say this is the reason why we have to do it this way.
Right.
That speaks volumes, and it's huge.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being in a staff sergeant position is obviously an amazing accomplishment. There's a lot of women that are also in the service right now that, they want to go beyond the first class constable. They want to grow. They want to grow and go through a similar journey.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the women in the service that want to aspire to get into a position? How should they navigate their career?
Right. Well, you know what? Commitment to their craft is one thing. And when I say commitment to craft, it's, there are times where you're going to have to go a little more above and beyond. And don't be afraid to do that. Be proactive when it comes to an investigation or a report or anything like that. That's something that I feel it just shows a bit more, it demonstrates a bit more that you are looking beyond what's just on the surface.
Keep learning, I guess.
Keep learning, yeah. I'm a big fan of networking.
Okay. That's huge.
Networking is huge. No matter, some people. Well,
tell me why. People listening, why?
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Networking is huge because you know what? It puts a name to a face, and it shows. Here, I'm willing to invest my time to reach out and to hear from you, to get to know your experiences, to find out how you made the transition, how you became successful. It's all part of that, that circle of what needs to be. It just shows commitment. It just shows that you're interested. It gives that person a connection to you to them. They want to know, you want to gain information as to how to get to that next level, and who better than the person that's there.
And also where I can kind of add on, sometimes being in a network setting, being at that place at the right time, opportunities come from those.
Yeah, yes.
And they're fantastic ways to grow.
Suddenly it's like, we're so used to the, texting and that sort of thing. You know what? No.
Yeah.
It's like when I tell my guys, if you're looking to go to a different unit, I'm going to make the first phone call to say I'm sending somebody over, but you're going over. And it's not an email or it's not a phone call. You're physically getting in the car, going over and speaking to that inspector or that DS or that staff sergeant. You're going there.
Well, you look in such a competitive world, right? You can't do what the average is doing. You got to give yourself the edge.
Have to. That's just a necessity, because we're a growing service.
That's right.
And we have a lot of good officers. I know, I've seen the work, I've heard of the work from a lot of officers. So, you know what? Do that little bit more, even if it's just, just a hello. And, hi, I'm this person and I'm interested in your unit. What do you think, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Tell me about and talk to them.
That's right. So you spoke about, obviously, an amazing career in policing, and as you continue to push forward every year, you come from a family of policing. You have a family right now. If your family says to you, I want to get into policing as well. Yeah. Can you see that torch being carried, and do you want to see that torch being carried?
Well, you know what? Ironically, my son was thinking about it at one point in time, but if he were interested, of course I'd support him and support that, because it's been a great career for me.
Right.
It has opened up avenues that I never thought in my in my lifetime
Right.
that I would be, have the opportunity to be a part of. Family background and history or not, I just never thought that, I'd be in this position at this point in time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
As a woman, let's face just the financial ability to be self-sufficient. That has also been a huge sort of
Yeah. No, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at yourself right now, having this amazing tenure with the service, York Regional Police, I keep on hearing about just how it's so many people love the service. It supports. All I keep hearing is the word support,
Yes.
right? Tell me a little bit about just the experiences of having a support like York Regional Police. Because I think I'll tell you why I bring this question up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of people, and you hear this statement, people do not quit corporations, they quit basically poor management, for example.
Right.
But leadership is such a pivotal piece in feeling supported because it really helps you, especially with this type of job. This is not an easy job, right?
No.
So tell me about the experience that you can kind of share in this. And you're also providing this experience up from a level of leadership as well for people looking at coming into a service.
Mm-hmm. So for our service, I mean, forget about all of the benefits and things that we have, those wellness centers and things like that have set us apart. Don't get me wrong, they have set us apart from other services with respect to how we support and provide additional supports for our members in times of crisis and whenever they need that. But just our whole mentality, our whole sort of organizational belief now is all geared to the members.
Okay.
It's geared to supporting, whether it's career, whether it's mental health, whether it's, wellness, whether it's, and every aspect of our organization right now is geared towards the member. And it just seems as though we've recognized that our people are the cornerstone. We are the foundation. And, when you have members that feel supported and they want to come to work and they do a good job, and therefore the community benefits. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay.
It's hand in hand.
Wow. I love that. Tell me about a challenging time on the job. Or just to be more vague or broader, what would you consider because again, this is a job that's going to demand a lot from you.
Yes.
And people should not think, oh, this is easy, I get to just jump in a car and drive around, right?
Yeah, never think that.
So what are some challenges that you think someone, from your experiences, someone should be aware of coming into a job like this?
Well, you know what? Like any job, there's politics. There are levels that where each people have not their own agendas. Agendas sounds like such a harsh sort of word, but there are levels that need of the organization that have their own directives, their own
I know what you're saying.
So there are times where that is, well, why are we doing it?
Right.
It's going to be top of mind.
Yes.
It's going to be, well, I don't agree with that. Well, we have to understand that while this is still, this is a servant leadership organization, this is still a paramilitary organization.
Right.
And we still have to follow. There's chains of command. There are there are expectations. There are all those sort of things that need to still be checked off.
Yeah.
When it comes to the day-to-day. Sometimes, and sometimes that's hard for people to sort of, accept and navigate. There are going to be times where you're going to be called to task and asked why you did something, and it may be in your mind that's it was the right thing to do, and
right.
Sometimes you're going to have to be told no.
Right. Right.
That, and sometimes hearing no a few times can be a little disheartening.
For sure. Well, look, a lot of times people may not understand a lot of the decisions being made at the top.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're only seeing it from their perspective.
They're only seeing it from one perspective. So those kind of things are, for some, can be a bit daunting.
Yes.
And and I get that. Even for me, it's a bit daunting. It's like, really? Well, this seems really. Why can't we just do it this way? It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But there are times where it's like, no, you got to look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
That's kind of one of the things that I keep telling my guys. Is like, you know what? I get what you're saying, but we have to look at the bigger picture here, and here are the reasons why it has to be this way as opposed to this way.
No, that's good. That's good context.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the most enjoyable parts of the job?
You know what? I have a good network of friends.
Okay.
Not just, and yes, they're work friends, and yes, there are times we talk shop and the whole bit, but they've been great sounding boards.
Yes.
And they have helped me sort of navigate some times where it's like, oh, what am I doing? What's going on here? And there are times where you're always going to have that. You're going to have those times of, okay, is it time to move on? Is it time to do something? Or is it, do I need to move into a different unit? Do I need to get out of it? But when you're faced with a challenge and you have a good network of people that can sort of walk you through and give you a different perspective, it's really made a whole lot of difference in my career as far as looking at things differently and having somebody to talk to about it. So, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I still like, for being on the job for this long, to me, I can always sense, and I can sense from you that you love this.
I love this job.
Yeah,
I love this career. It's not even I keep saying job.
Yes.
I love this career.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not retiring.
No, not anytime soon. I mean, I keep thinking, but you know what? No, I'm not. I think I have more to give.
Yeah.
I still, want to be here, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So.
Okay. If you had an opportunity to speak to a big decision maker, like a mayor or prime minister or whatever.
Wow, that's big.
And they said, look, you've done this service for a while right now. You've seen a lot. What is something that you'd like to see change that could make policing even more impactful?
That's a really good question.
And when I snap my fingers, it'll happen.
And when you snap your fingers, it'll happen.
Yeah.
You know what? The mayor? A mayor? Or, you know what? I don't know. That's a pretty big question.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a pretty big question that, a pretty big ask.
Or
I don't know what I would want.
Like, for example, just maybe kind of like for example, technology, right?
Right.
You see, like, how technology can help maybe the service.
Yes.
Or,
We're pretty good there.
Well, man, York is amazing.
We're amazing
when
it comes to our technology and the advances that we, the equipment and things that we have.
Like, I'll give you an example. The shifts, every service has a different shift.
Yes.
Right? Some like 4 on, 4 off.
Yes.
Toronto's like 7 on, 5
yeah.
on. What do you guys do at York?
We do 4 on, 4 off. In uniform, we are 4 on, 4 off.
Okay. And that is obviously taxing on the body.
Yes.
Right? So, if you can recall when you were in rotation on those levels, right? Because you don't do night shifts.
I still do night. Oh yeah.
You do, eh?
No, I work.
It's still
I am 4 on, 4 off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you? Okay, let's focus on this.
3 a.m. was still nighttime.
Wow. Okay. I did 12 years of nights straight, and I did that because having the family, and it worked well for schedules.
Yes.
But what would you say are some good strategies when you're put into a rotation where you have to go between days and nights? Like, do you try to put a lot of attention on your health? Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So ours is 4 on, so 2 days, 2 nights. The changeover, that is a day where there is minimal sort of work done at home.
Okay.
I mean, you're getting in. I get in. For me personally, it's a wake up, normal sort of wake. Well, close to normal.
Yeah.
An early wake up, a workout, something to eat, maybe an errand. But then, by noon, it's rest time. It's a sleep time.
Yeah.
I have no trouble sleeping.
So you can sleep during the day.
I can still sleep during the week. Yeah,
wow.
No problem. I know. I'm very fortunate that way. But
so good.
I have no trouble sleeping.
Good.
So it's just one of those. Yeah, sleep and then get up for your night shift.
Okay.
But that's kind of my routine.
Yeah.
To get me through that.
That's so important. And,
it is.
And you mentioned the word exercise.
Yes.
I feel a lot of times like people feel that it's like a time lapse. Meaning, I say, I'll do it at these certain years and then kind of back off. It's so important to your health.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm no a woman doesn't tell her age, but it's I have maintained that sort of fitness level.
Yes.
From the time that I've been started the career to at least the time, to present day.
Right.
I'm not the big runner like I used to, but I'm still physically active so that I know I can still go out there in the car. I can still deal with prisoners when I have to. I can deal with the situation when I have to. And I know that, my body can still physically take it. So. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this that have very deep aspirations to get into policing. Okay. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to just share from your heart, for those specifically, those who have gone through the failure process, those who have who are questioning or doubting themselves.
Yes.
What I want you to do is I want you to share from your heart right now some words of encouragement to get them over that hump.
Well, you know what? I said this at one point in time during my career, and I said, getting into policing is not easy. It takes a lot of grit because it's going to be physically, mentally, emotionally demanding on you. But if you want it, go for it, because there are a lot of things that are reasons why you shouldn't do it, but then there are a lot of reasons why you need to. So it's not who's gonna let you.
Yeah.
It's how deep is your commitment to do it.
Okay.
So take the highs and the lows, learn from it, and just get it done. Okay. Just get it done. If you want it, get it done.
Okay. Do you remember that show, The X Factor?
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay, or it's like The X Factor or American Idol.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So The X Factor was a spin-off of American Idol, but it was supposed to be like having the X Factor, right?
Yes.
This is a job that thousands of people are applying to every year.
Right.
Okay, so based on your experience, I'm asking you, what can I do to give myself the X Factor edge? What can I work on? What do you guys feel that when you see this, it impresses you?
Right. When you see somebody that has got, has that drive, and you really see it. It's not something that can hide. When you see somebody that has been unsuccessful, but yet still keeps coming back, and comes back with a different level, you could see it in their face, you could see it when they're doing their testing, or when they're speaking to you. You could see that they've taken those pieces that they have learned from previous attempts and incorporated that into their new sort of presentation.
Right.
It's like, what are you bringing to the table now? If you bring something different to the table, something new, and I see it and I hear it, it's like, got it. You're in it. You're there. That's you. I see it now because you want it. And it just comes across that way. It can't be hidden. It can't be covered up with something else.
Yeah, it can't be it has to be genuine.
It's genuine.
Yeah.
You just know it, you hear it, and you see it.
Right.
The way somebody presents after being unsuccessful and comes back again, it's just kind of, there's that factor.
Wow.
And that's who I want.
Yes.
That's who I want.
That's so good.
I want somebody that's been, kind of knocked down a little bit, had some unsuccessful times, because you know what? And come back harder and stronger because they want it.
That's so good, because I think a lot of times people don't realize that even like you're being watched, and your reactions to taking maybe, some news that's not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
How you respond to that tells people who you are.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
You know?
It does. It does. It screams volumes.
Right.
It really does. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that. And I think these are key things, because like I look at everything as well for our organization when we're bringing on people to work in our security agency. I'm always looking like everything that you're talking, how you're saying, how your attitude is, do you come across, feeling like, a lot of times I feel maybe it's the younger generation where things should be kind of handed to them, or, there's an element where people understand you have to go through the journey.
Yeah.
And the journey will define you, and it will make you and evolve you to be who you are.
And it will make you so much better.
That's right.
It does. And that's that learning piece for the next person that you lead or you mentor.
Yes.
Because if everything is kind of handed to you right off the hop, where's the learning there?
That's right.
You need to have that learning, because it's not always going to be that way.
That's right. Well, look, I want to say it's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. It's been great.
Connecting with you. Like your passion is so strong. I'm going to go submit an application right now. Okay. Yeah.
And I will take it from you.
It's so good. And I think, you do such an amazing job of representing York. We are truly lucky to have someone like yourself. And I feel that what you do is an inspiration to many. And like I say to many of the officers that I'm continuously talking to, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for the foundation of your family, to everything that have been. It's so amazing that you want to protect and help others.
Yeah.
And you guys don't get that praise or thanks enough. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much. That's very I appreciate that.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Absolute
It's been
pleasure.
great.
Amazing. Well, look, everyone, you heard it today. If you have aspirations to get into policing, or you're already in policing and you want to elevate your journey, there's no better place than York. And I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's been great meeting you.
Amazing.
Nice drive.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Love it.
much. All right, guys, have a fantastic day.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thank you for joining me in today's podcast. This podcast was created for protectors in the fields of law enforcement, executive protection, security, and anyone looking to level up their mindset. If you are learning from this podcast and you're enjoying it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Sentinel Mindset. That's a zero-cost way to support us. In addition, please subscribe to the podcast both on Spotify and Apple. And on both Spotify and Apple, you can leave us up to a 5-star review. If you have questions for me or comments about the podcast, or guests you would like me to consider on The Sentinel Mindset, please post all comments on YouTube. I do read all the comments. Please also check out our sponsors, thearenatoronto.com. The Arena was created to help all those in the fields of law enforcement, security, and all that achieve their fitness goals. I want to thank our producer Matthew Doyle and creative supports Jaslene Singh, who help me with this podcast every week. We value your feedback and are here to support you. Tune into The Sentinel Mindset every week, where we look in the mirror to make real changes and explore what it takes to achieve greatness in your craft.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week, and don't forget to subscribe.